Hello everyone, welcome to this course. Today we are in the week 1 and we are going to talk about HTML5 and CSS3. My name is Lila Rajabion and I'm the instructor for this course. I just put an introductory video about this course, but I just want to explain to you again that each chapter you're going to have some recordings and I'm going to make them short. Maybe like the maximum recording would be maybe 10-15 minutes, but normally it's less than 10 minutes time, so you're not going to get bored. You can just watch the video and then maybe watch the next segment another time. So we will have different segments and each of them will be around 10 minutes time frame. You will have assignments to do, and your book is your guide. Basically, this book is a very good book. It has normally some labs at the end of the chapter, and then it has some critical thinking questions, which we will do it in terms of a discussion maybe not each week, but every other week. So in week 1, you are going to have an exercise which will include lab 1 and lab 2. You might have 3 labs sometimes in a chapter, but I'm not going to ask you guys to do all the 3 labs. But if you want to learn more, I would encourage you to do the 3 labs. But for the assignment, maybe you just finish whatever I ask you to. One more thing about the assignments, that if you submit on time, that's great. If you don't submit on time, I have to deduct points. So it's still better to submit late than to never submit, because most of your grade is based on the assignment. So yeah, the assignment is the important part of your grade. I just want you guys to remember that. So now let's look at some of the objectives of this chapter. In this week, we are going to focus on basically what is the internet. I know most of you know what is internet, but we are going to talk about the history of it and some of the important keys, terms that are associated with it, like TCP/IP, like www, like URL. What do they mean? We are going to talk about the internet protocols, and then we are also going to talk about web browsers, which most of you are familiar with, and identify some of their main features that each browser has. We will also talk about types and purpose of the websites. Maybe some of you are familiar with buying and selling websites, which are e-commerce sites. We are also going to talk about when we are creating a website, we need to plan for a target audience. So this everybody maybe can create a website, but we need to have some skills to attract those audience to your website. So that's another important concept that we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about wireframe and also sitemap, what they are. Also, we are going to explain how websites use graphic navigation tools, typography, and also color in them. And at the end, we are going to talk about how we can design for accessibility and how we can design in multiple platform display, because now most of you know that when we are designing something for the PC, it needs to work on the mobile as well, because now most of our users are using their mobile, for example, to purchase something. Also, we will talk about the HTML and the elements of it. We will talk about the different versions of HTML that are out there. We will talk about some of the web authoring tools, and also we can download and use a web authoring tool that we like. We will also create a very basic HTML web page. So your first lab, actually, you will create a very basic web page. So in this week, this is what we are going to do. So now let's talk about the internet. What is basically the internet? Basically, internet is a collection of computers linked together for use by businesses, government, maybe educational institutions, or maybe other organizations that are using modems, phone lines, maybe cable TV, or satellite links, or fiber optic connections, or maybe they can connect through the radio wave and other communication devices. The node is any device. It could be a computer, tablet, or a smartphone that is connected to a network. And network is basically a collection of two or more computers that are linked together and they share the same resources and information. So on a network, you could have also a printer on a network, and those computers can be linked into that printer to be able to print. The Internet of Things, this is a very hot topic right now. It's actually described a growing number of devices that are connecting to the internet, including maybe TV appliances. So the concept of a smart car or maybe a smart home, it's part of the Internet things. Data lines, again, those are that connect networks, allow data to move from one computer to another computer, and that's moving through a data line. Internet has a backbone. What is a backbone? Is a collection of high-speed data lines that connect major computer systems located around the world. And then we have an ISP, or maybe you've heard about it, Internet Service Provider. It's a company that has a permanent connection to that internet backbone that is, around the world. So the World Wide Web, sometimes we call it a web, is the service that provides access to information that are stored on those web servers. So the web consists of a collection of link files known as web pages. So those link files are those HTML files. So once we put them all together, we create a web page. A website is related collection of web pages created and maintained by a person, maybe a company, or maybe educational institution like us, or maybe some other organization. That is a website. So these are just different terminologies which I want you guys to kind of focus on and don't get it mixed up. So maybe when we talk about web, it's the same as World Wide Web, but web pages and websites are different than web. So what is a home page? Home page is the first document that user sees when they access a website. So somebody might ask you, can you show me your home page? That's your first page of your website. And a hyperlink, which is commonly known as a link, every website has a link in it, which is an element that connects one web page to another web page on the same server, or it could be in another server somewhere else. So you could have a link from your website to another website, which could be in another part of the world. So basically, as you can see here, in this website, so this is the URL address, we haven't talked about it yet. This is US Department of Education. It's the first page that we are on it, so that's the home page. The student loan, this is a link that you can click on it and take you to a different screen. Again, these are some of the links that are linked to this content. The next thing that the internet needs to have in order to work is a protocol. Protocol is basically a set of rules that define how a client workstation can communicate with a server. So what's a server? A server is a host computer that stores resources and files for the website. And then we have the HTTP or Hypertext Protocol. So we said in order for the internet to work, we need to have a set of rules. Those set of rules for exchanging text, graphic, audio, video, and all the other multimedias on the web is called the HTTP protocol. The File Transport Protocol, which is called FTP, is a protocol that's used in exchange files from one computer to another computer. So if you want to send or do a file transfer, you need to have a FTP protocol presented in order for that transfer to be done. I just have one question before we move on. Do you know how many web pages are on World Wide Web? Maybe billions of web pages are on there. And also, I just want you to know that internet is just more than World Wide Web. It's basically, it's the transferring file, transferring voice over IP. Also, as I mentioned, the Internet of Things, connection to the appliances, maybe to the house, like the smart homes. Also, maybe it's more like in the smart car. So the internet is kind of like growing very rapidly. So let's talk about other protocols here. We have transmission control protocol, or what we call a TCP/IP. So this TCP/IP is a pair of protocols that use to transfer data efficiently over the internet by properly routing it to the destination. So the internet protocol, making sure that the data is sent to the correct location. I'm going to put a video also for this week that you can watch, and it's about the World Wide Web, and you will see how various things like the TCP/IP, how the firewall, how all of these are working in terms of, when somebody hits one part of the web page, or when somebody sends an email, how that data gets transferred and gets to the other person on the other side of the computer. Internet protocol, making sure that the data is sent to the correct location. Also, we have a domain name system, which is called DNS. DNS is associated with an IP address with a domain name. So each so we have every web page has a domain, has an IP address. So maybe 172.18.19.42. But that also links to a domain name. So for example, Lila.com is my domain name. So, and that is related to an address, to an IP address. A web browser is a program that interprets the displayed web pages and also help us to view and interact with the web pages. We have a lot of web browsers like Internet Explorer, Firefox, Google Chrome, Apple Safari. The first one that actually got the internet started is Netscape, but we are not using that anymore. So maybe some of you have used it before in past, but that's where the whole internet got started, by Netscape. A uniform resource locator, or another word we call a URL, is the address of a document or other file that are accessible on the internet. So this address is the URL address of that location. A domain is an area of internet a particular organization or a person that can manage it. So in here, this HTTP is the protocol, the www is the subdomain, this Cengage Brain is a server name or a domain name, this is the location of it, and this is the web page file name. So this is index.html is the file name. Now let's look at types of websites. Sometimes we call it internet site, that's the other name for a website. So that's basically that's available to anybody with the internet connection. We have intranet and extranet. Intranet and extranet is a private network. Intranet is a private network that uses internet technology to share company information among employees. So in USF we have an intra network like our X Drive, which can be shared between the employees. Extranet is a private network that uses internet technology to share business information with selected corporate partners. So maybe we give access to another university to have access to our stuff. So that's the extranet. Many company websites also support e-commerce, or another word, electronic commerce, which is buying and selling goods online. And then educational institution, they also use a learning management system like we use Canvas to help with the course management. LMS, so Canvas is LMS, is a web-based software that's designed to facilitate online learning, and that's how we use it. Some people they use Blackboard, some people they use Angel. So this is the first part of this chapter. In the next video, we are going to talk about planning a website.